What is up, guys? Welcome back to Wild Rift University, and today we have an excellent game for you. We are going to be playing Lee Sin in the jungle, and this game was really cool because I think it's something that a lot of players kind of struggle with, where they have a game going and you're getting kills and your team gets ahead, but you're still losing the game and like really losing the game because your team's getting out pushed and everything. And we're going to talk about a couple things here. One, we're going to talk about like understanding like how to build, and then understanding like how to prioritize what to do in like situations when you're falling behind like this, and also like understanding the game dynamic of like how important it is to not die basically. And then also, this game is from the stream last night. I was debating on whether or not I want to publish it, but everyone in the stream was like, oh, 100% publish this game. It was a great game, amazing comeback and everything. And I said it almost doesn't feel like a comeback because we were winning as far as like kill wise so hard, but we just got out rotated and outplayed in so many of the situations that caused us to have lots of macro disadvantages. But the way that we work together as a team to find or create little micro disadvantages for them, so that way we can turn them into macro disadvantages for them, was really awesome as well. So we're going to try and break all those aspects down as much as we can this game. So as you can tell, I'm Lee Sin. So the first thing you always have to like think about like when you're Lee Sin is, okay, I'm really early game and their team has some pretty good scaling, but we do have a Sona. And the great thing about Sona is she can turn basically any team into a late game team comp, because she has constant buffs, shields, healing, speed buffs. She has great poke. But otherwise, our team actually is pretty early game. Like Lee Sin's very early game. Lucian's pretty early game and everything as well. Now we do have the Shen, who's great late game, and we also do have the Akali, who's good like mid game and late game as well. And as you could see kind of like at the beginning of the game, I'm trying to just walk around, see if I can find somewhere where I can create value in the game. I'm rotating around, but I'm also trying to keep my farm. Here, I did not think that there was any way possible that Garen would kill the Shen, and then completely just goes on the Shen. And this Garen ends up being like a huge nuisance to our team. Like, he's a big part of the reason why this game was so difficult. And this is 5-mans, by the way. 5-mans, high Grandmaster. So the players in this are either Challenger or High GM, just to kind of, once again, give you an idea of where we're at, like play skill-wise and everything. And so like right now, I can kind of already tell that this is going to be a tough game just by the way that the game's going. So I'm already strategizing. What do I have to do? What do I have to build in order to help my team win this game? And I'm focusing on like how the game momentum and everything is going. All right, but I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that like I'm looking at like the strength of the Garen, and I'm able to tell by the strength of the Garen that this is going to be a difficult game. And then also the fact that like the Shen had to teleport or alt bot lane, so which gave Garen tons of free farm, which also forced me to have to stay here and farm. And the way that puts me behind, because I'm a jungler and I'm early farming lane, so I'm getting decreased experience and decreased gold. And the Shen's missing out on experience and gold, and the Garen's getting all this free farm basically. So this tells me right away, like, okay, I already know that this is going to be a difficult game, because now my Shen's behind. Now I'm a little bit behind where I should be. Luckily, I farmed pretty well, so I did still kind of stay even with their jungler. If you guys hear some odd noise, I apologize. It's my dogs. They refuse to not be right next to me right now. But yeah, luckily, the Rengar did die, so that kind of is like the only thing that kept me in with gold. And right there, I switched to a double ward just because, like, I didn't want to put a pink down in the Fire Dragon because I knew that if I put a pink in, they would probably just clear it. Here, our team gets caught out, so this was really bad. But the Shen ults in, gets there just in time. And then I'm able to get a nice double kick, which basically allows the Akali to go off and just kill the whole team. So we turned a really bad situation. Luckily, I was able to get my S1 onto Rengar. And because we were able to get my S1 onto Rengar, I was able to kick him away from the fight so that way he couldn't blow up the Akali. And then it also hit the support. So basically put it low, and then the Akali was able to just one-shot everybody right after that. And then we had the Shen there to help with the taunt and everything. So that was pretty huge. Right there, I purposely just did a light push to the wave because I'm also trying to keep up with time. And I think we should be able to just clean up this Garen pretty easily. I can't actually remember what happens. But the reason why I was able to go help with this Garen is because I had the ward. And this, man, Garen is just, I literally couldn't believe here that he lived. But it's okay. But you can kind of see this game, like they're really focusing on split pushing. Like even right now, the Jhin is down lane split pushing, and then they're mid split pushing right now. So you hear me talk about like trading value all the time and trading objectives. So they're realizing like, hey, we're not going to get this Fire Dragon. So what they do? The Garen took first tower. Then the team is realizing, okay, we're not going to get this Rift Herald. So what they do? They hard push mid. And they almost took mid as well. So it's just, oh, look at this play. Watch this play. I literally kick her in the air so that way she can't land her full combo. I thought that was a pretty sick play, personally. Okay, and then once again, as you can see, bot lane. Hard pushing the towers, hard pushing the lanes and everything. Here, kind of like what's going on in my thought process. So, I saw the Rengar on the map, as you guys did. If you rewind it just a second, you'll see the Rengar. So I actually want to go bot lane and help my team because I have more than enough time to get there. But let me stop, Chloe. Sorry. Let me kind of explain what, and you can actually see exactly what I was about to explain. So I saw the Rengar. He was mid lane, and then he started to rotate bot. I saw him on some vision, and I started pushing the wave. And I was like, okay, I have plenty of time to get bot. I'm going to push this wave, drop the rift, and then head to my team. But I was kind of thinking that Rengar is probably going to dance in between in zone because he wants to kill me. So what my thought process is like, okay, I could rotate towards the bot, but I believe Rengar is going to sit somewhere in my jungle or in the river waiting for me to rotate, expecting me to rotate. And then if I don't rotate, he's closer to the team fight, so he can go impact it faster than I can. So I waited a little while, and I was like, oh, well, maybe he is already at the team fight. So I started walking. The second I walk in, I immediately see him there. So he did exactly what I thought, which was really smart because his team is already like kind of winning the fight a little bit. So he's able to stop me from being able to create value when I'm one of the stronger. Because Rengar, since my ult isn't up, he could definitely 1v1 me. Especially if his ult's up, and especially like in the river in the jungle, because there's enough bushes for him to constantly just jump as well. So like kind of give you an idea of how I'm thinking in the game and everything. Here I'm pinging this because I want my teammates to clear. I don't want to actually spend the time clearing it. And once again, looking to just try and get as much vision value as I can as the game goes. And I'm trying to hold lanes. So like you also see, I hold lanes quite a bit in this. There's really not anything I can do against Garen, obviously, because he's just, right now, a broken, easy champ. Spin to win, push one button, takes 0 skill. Play Garen, build tank, and just run at people, and think you're good at the game. That is the premise of Garen, basically. It's such an annoying champion. I never agree with champions that have low skill gaps being strong. They can be decent, but they should never be strong. Here I make a mistake. So once the Shen ulted in on me, I probably should have engaged because the Shen could have probably gotten a multi-man team fight. And we had Akali there, and we had our support there as well, so we probably could have won a fight there. So what I'm doing now is like, I wanted to build Black Cleaver, but I was looking at their team comp. So Divine Sunder, because they have so many tanks, Divine Sunder is definitely the better build there. Plus, it's going to give me a little bit more sustain. So that's kind of the reason why I went Divine Sunder. I hate fighting Rengars in the jungle. Here, get a nice kick onto the Rengar, which is great. And, of course, the Jhin just putting little traps everywhere. And so, like you see, it's pretty even right now. It's 3-0. I'm 3-0-2. It's 12-12. They have 2 towers to none, though. So, like, they've done really good at trading towers for objectives. And like I said, this is kind of like what I talk about with saying, if you're not going to get an objective, like a Rift Herald or a Dragon, trade a tower for it. Because you get a lot of gold from those towers. And if you have, like, a good early game team, like they do, they have pretty good early game on their team, you can translate that to power. And they've been doing that really well. Like, the Garen's super strong this game and everything. He's a pretty big problem for us overall. And so the other thing, I have my ward over at the Dragon right now. And now I'm actually going to finish. I'm going to get boots. I'm getting plated steel caps simply just because I feel like armor is what's actually hurting me the most this game. Attack damage is what's actually hurting me the most this game. I could go get the Mercury Treads. I think Mercury Treads is a good buy, but this game I really felt like I just had to have armor and tankiness. As soon as we see the Rengar top, we immediately go in. So, like, their biggest downfall this game is that their Rengar wasn't prioritizing dragons very much. There, I kind of made a mistake, so I typically don't like trying to do the dragon while his ult is up, because his ult can outsmite my smite, which is stupid, but it just is what it is. So anytime there's a champion that can, like, use one of their abilities to outsmite your smite, I usually like to try and kill that champion first as well before I go to engage. So what they're also doing this game, it's really smart. So they've already realized that, like, they can't really beat us in a full, like, straight team fight, especially because, like, our Akali is really strong. So, like, the fact that they're constantly looking for split pushes is really good. And their team is such a good pick comp as well. So by looking for team fights, looking for split pushes and catching people out, that's really the best way for them. And then right there, as you saw, I was about to build the chain vest. But you hear me talk about this all the time in my games, where it's like you go from a offensive mentality to a defensive mentality. And this game, I was looking at the game and I was like, okay, no, I need to maintain an offensive mentality. So, like, don't just buy an item just to buy it. Like, ask yourself, like, okay, what impact in this game am I needing to have to actually be valuable and to actually help my team win? And if the answer is I need to be tankier, then yeah, build tankier. But, like, I've been tanky enough. Like, I haven't been dying or, like, almost dying because of my tankiness and everything. But I do need more damage. So instead of building the chain vest, I switched to building another longsword and then the cloth armor, or whatever the hell it's called. So here, as you can see, once again, the and like I said, that's a big thing that actually causes a lot of people to lose games. Is not prioritizing, like, the way they should be building as well, and then they throw their leads due to that. Here I probably could have tanked a little bit longer, but I did see them pushing the mid lane, so I was like, okay, this is kind of pointless for me to keep pushing because we're going to lose a lot here. See, I mean, look how well they're just split pushing as a team. They take our mid tower. I flashed. That was kind of a bad flash, and I mean, not kind of, it was a horrible flash because I still had my S2 up, so I don't know really what I was thinking there. Ooh, excuse me. But as you can see, like, they're doing such a good job at rotating around the map compared to us. And here I mess up. I accidentally kick him. I wasn't trying to kick him. And I literally, he got away because of that. All because I accidentally kicked him. So that was, like, another pretty big mistake by me. And right now our whole team's calling Baron. So 15-13. Still a very close game, and we're 13 minutes in. But right now we're we're losing the game right now. Even though it's 15-13, I'm 3-0-4. We are losing the game because we're down a tower. We're getting completely out-rotated. But we know their jungler's kind of low. And like right here, I'm kind of thinking like, oh man, we may have just thrown the game right here. Because Rengar can burst things really fast. So, like, the whole team's like, we got to back right away. I'm hoping we didn't throw the game, but I'm thinking we may have possibly threw the game. Luckily, thank God, our support had her ult up. If she didn't have her ult up, it may have been GG right there. But luckily, she did have her ult up. And then we're able to overcapitalize. They try to end the game on the Baron, which was smart. What really should have happened, the Garen should have just followed the Rengar and went straight for the base. If they would have done that, they would have won the game. But the Garen was focusing on split pushing, which kind of cost them from winning the game. They would have won the game right there, like 100%. So now basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to think of like, okay, like I said, you do need to think about it, especially in close games like this. I'm thinking, what should I build? My first initial thought process was like, I'm going to build Black Cleaver because like I'm going to be able to shred more of their defenses and everything. And then I'm looking at their items and I'm asking myself, okay, what are their items? What do they have? What do I need to do? Who's a threat? And things. And then what you'll see is I actually end up not building Black Cleaver. Because I liked Black Cleaver. It's like, okay, this is giving me a little bit more tankiness, a little bit more cooldown reduction. But I'm kind of realizing like this game is going into a little bit later game phase. I believe that our team will have enough like armor shred without me having to build armor shred. So I'm going to build something that focuses more on the tanky side. But as you can see, like I originally set for Black Cleaver, but I completely changed it up based on the situation. Here I was backing, but then I saw the Shen back, so I decided to stop my back and continue to push with my team instead. Because we're kind of at the phase of the game, like losing one more tower makes the game incredibly hard. My teammates are pushing the other lane. I'm going to push another lane because like right now, like we're trying to get as much of a gold lead as we possibly can to get us back in this game. Because like, we have to be much stronger than the enemy. Like when you're down like this, you have to realize that like you have to be a lot stronger than the enemy just for it to be an even fight, especially because they have like so much lane priority on us. And the Garen's just so strong in his split push right now. And luckily for us, the Garen didn't build teleport either. If he would have built teleport, it would have made this game probably twice as hard for us. But constantly putting pressure on a lane and then retreating. And like I said, we just now got some towers basically this game. We were basically without towers for like majority of this game. So it was definitely a game where we played well, but we just got out-rotated. But as you can see, like as we're getting out-rotated, luckily for us, the Shen is doing a good job at like trying to stop the Garen split push. And what we're doing is when we see that they're split pushing, we are hard engaging on those fights immediately in order to create a disadvantage for them. So like the way that you kind of counteract split push, you either when you see the split push, you all jump in on that split push champion, and that's great. But the problem is by doing that, usually what will happen, unless you have teams like hidden and the other enemy team doesn't know where they are, their team will just ping them to run away. And then if you're playing against a good team and they don't know where you are, they're probably not going to split push as well. So as you see right here, they're split push, the Garen's split pushing, our team immediately hard engages while we have an advantage. Now that we have the advantage, we back up and then we go in on the Garen to just secure our advantage even more basically. So like I said, when you're facing a split push team, the way that you counteract it is like this. Either you hard engage on the person split pushing, but once again, like I said, the problem with that is if you're playing against a good team, the person who's split pushing will either wait until he knows where you are, and then if they don't know where you are, they probably won't split push, or they'll play safe split push. They'll partial split push and back and go somewhere else, partial split push back, go somewhere else. If they do know where you are, basically what they will do is if your whole team tries to then jump onto the split pusher, what a good team will do is they'll then ping the split pusher to back off, and then you're basically just wasting your enemy's time. So either giving your team, the enemy team, more time to scale, or give them easier split pushing, or allowing them to put pressure on opposite sides of the map because they're too busy running back and forth from side to side of the map. And then you just play the dance of like, okay, now they're rotating towards bot lane, so now let's hard push mid. Now they're coming back to mid. Go ahead, Garen, hard push bot again. And you just keep playing that game back and forth, okay? Especially because, like I said, with Garen, nobody on our team can really 1v1 him yet. The Shen will eventually be able to 1v1 him. And then another thing you'll see this game, I do it quite a few times. If I see him put those traps down, I'm constantly jumping out and trying to break him. Right now, we're not trying to fight. We're constantly always pinging the Garen, like, hey, look at the Garen. Because I said, the Garen's been nonstop split pushing. But what I like to do, and I think the best thing to do when you have a split push team, as soon as you notice it's a split push, immediately run. I like to hard engage that enemy team because it's a 4v5. If your team's in position. So you have the advantage to win. We are stronger than them. We just can't really... We're struggling to match their split push just because the Garen's really strong right now. So here we're kind of like... This is a very common situation that happens a lot. And so the Garen... We have to stop the Garen. And so we had to send somebody there. The problem is nobody on our team can 1v1 Garen at the moment. So we have to send two. As you can see, Lucian is heading bot. And we can't give up another tower. Garen's too strong, and we can't 1v1. So we need two people. So now we have to play a really careful dance. And so I noticed that, like, okay, and my team realized, like, okay, Shen can't 1v1 Garen. So we have to send another person. And they know that as well. So, and they have Baron buff. So because they have Baron buff, Shen's can't 1v1 Garen, and they have super minions. The only way that we can kill him is if we have two people down there. And the only way we can save that tower is if we have two people down there. If they get that tower, they basically just have a bot tower that has a couple of hits on it. It almost guarantees that they're going to get all towers. So we have to play like this very careful dance of trying to poke, trying to put pressure on lanes to keep them off of the Elder. And, like, they have to kill Garen extremely fast. If they don't kill Garen extremely fast, then that basically ruins it for them. Now, the Shen did really great, so I get what they were trying to do right there. They were trying to burst the Shen to make it a guaranteed 4v5. And it was a good idea, but the problem is because they should have just probably continued to go onto the Elder and they would have cleaned it up. But because they all bursted onto the Garen, what ended up happening was, the Shen, sorry. They all tried to burst the Shen. I apologize. What ended up happening is I was able to jump in there, get a kick, disengage. The Shen was able to get away. Then the Vex was like, I'm going to try to clean up this fight and win it for it. Notice how I waited till the last attack, by the way, because like I said, it auto-attacked. Like that last attack did over 1,000 damage. So like I stopped attacking, waiting for him to use his last attack. I was not going to attack until it was done. But that basically gave time for our Lucian to engage, and then we already had them pretty low. And then once the Vex like kind of hard engages by herself, it kind of threw it. Like it was actually a really cool team fight. You kind of had to watch it a couple times just to kind of see what I'm saying. I suppose I could like rewind it real fast and show you. Like, yeah, I'm just going to rewind it real fast. And then we'll fast forward, back forward again, because this situation is huge. Most kids would lose the game right here. So I'm going to pause it real quick once again. As you can see, Lucian is rotating towards the Garen, okay? They have to kill him immediately. They understand that they have to kill him quickly, because if they don't kill him quickly, what's going to happen is the enemy team is going to engage on the Elder. They see him down there. What do? They immediately engage on the Elder like they should. And then what does the Jhin do? He immediately ults to try and hold us back. Now, the mistake that he made is his positioning with his ult. He should have been standing closer to the dragon, so that way he had more protection, and we wouldn't have had this angle that I had right here to get around his ult as easily. So we go in, the Akali is able to jump on in, get away. We're able to disengage the fight really well. This gives us plenty of time now for our Shen to ult in and gives time for our Lucian to go in. The Vex trying to kill the Akali, but we're able to blow her up real fast, and then that basically turns the whole team fight around. Lucian had time to get there. Our Lucian's really strong, and we win the team fight. Now we have 3 dragons, and we're going to have the Elder Dragon. Okay? 3 dragons and the Elder Dragon. And then now that they're all dead, basically, we're hard pushing, and we can potentially get Baron. Okay? The game is still kind of like in a, we're strong and we need to fight right away. But it is still kind of like in a be careful type situation because of just, it only takes like one bad team fight and then you can always lose the game. Right now it's kind of hard for us to lose because we do have the Elder. But you can kind of see how like this team, they kind of threw a lot of their leads and advantages that they had. Like they had a chance at this game and they kind of threw it. Rengar makes a smart play, taking out the bot tower, making it even harder for us to push. So, like, as you can see, like, they're constantly making advances, taking objectives for objectives. And like I said, I talk about this all the time in my games. Like, the biggest reason why these guys were able to stick around so long when it's 31-17 is they never stopped trading value for value. Now, were we getting better value than they were? Yes, we were. But because they constantly traded value for value, they were able to stay in this game for so long. Once again, guys, I'm sorry. My dog is, she's going crazy. Chloe, calm down. I'm going to take you for a walk after this. And then now we're basically just able to end the game. And the Lucian kills himself. The Shen almost kills himself just because it was a crazy comeback. But yeah, super good game. Super good game. I think I show the stats. I can't remember if I show the stats as well. Let's see here. Yeah, so like here are the stats for you guys. Whoops, there you go. There's the stats for you guys to see. So the top went 2, 4, and 23. Had a bad start, gave Garen some early kills, which really made the game very difficult for us, but we ended up being able to handle it. So that Garen was a menace. 9, 0, and 7, I got all objectives, which was huge, except one rift. Our mid had a huge game. Our ADC came back and had a good game, and our support had a good game as well. Like everybody just played super well for the comeback. Like I said, we were definitely better than them, but they were way better at rotating. And this just kind of goes to show you, like, having understandings of these aspects of the game can help you win. Because like they were a much better team at rotating and putting pressure on opposite sides of the map than we were. And it almost won them the game. They actually would have won the game with their strategy if Garen would have pushed mid with the Rengar. Because we wouldn't have been able to kill them both fast enough that one time we tried to take the Baron. But unfortunately, the Garen tried to push the opposite lane. Otherwise, it probably would have been game over right there. Anyways, guys, I wanted to show you this game. I thought it was a really cool game. Amazing comeback. And kind of shows you like how to stop this situation, because I think so many people lose games like this where they're like super far ahead, but they just can't stop the split push. And I kind of explained to you in this like how to approach that. We weren't doing it well at the start of the game, and is why we fell so far behind. But you can actually see how we do it properly near like mid and late game. So that's my opinion on how you stop a good split push and everything. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.